Hello Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of March 26th through April 1st. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing. Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that, an Ace of Swords. Beautiful card, beautiful energy. We're going to lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And as I do this, I want to say if there is anything that I can pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments down below. And also, I apologize for my congestion. My family and I are actually just getting over a bout with the COVID virus. Over this past weekend, we all kind of came down with it. It's been miserable, but we're getting through it. So I appreciate everyone who is offering their support and their thoughts and prayers for us. It really means a lot to me. Okay, so our Dove and Serpent spread. Got it all lined up, and we're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is the card that we're not going to look at until the very end of the reading. We're going to leave it right there, so you do have to stick around until the end. Hopefully that'll tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for. Okay, so we start with this Ace of Swords. We've always had a lot of air energy in the Capricorn readings. We have a lot of air energy today. Okay, I just want to point that out. Let's just get it out of the way. The air is here. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be terrible interference by anyone in your life that's causing any kind of mischief or trouble. I feel like there is something going on with a close relative, friend, or family member maybe. I feel like someone in your life has recently made a really big shift, right? Maybe someone has literally moved or maybe moved in with you. Just based on the recent past and the present with these Earth cards, we have the Ace and we have the Four of Discs. I feel like there was a move or a new start. I think it's a family member. It could be that you and a romantic partner decided to move in together.Maybe you've let someone move into your house. Maybe there was some other kind of a physical move, right, in your life. I don't feel like you're the one that moved. I feel like somebody in kind of your inner circle has made a big change or a big move in their life. All right. I feel like with the Ace of Swords here, somehow there's some responsibility that falls on you. Okay. I feel like this is your love of truth and honesty. Okay. And I feel like there's someone around you that almost needs something from you, or they're going through a bit of a challenge, but they don't want to talk to you about it. They don't want to ask you for help. They don't want to reveal that they need assistance, you know? And I feel like, it's weird. I feel like you already know that this person is kind of keeping the secret, but you're waiting for them to tell you, right? Because the Ace of Swords here kind of knows everything, right? They think you don't know, but you do. And you're waiting for this person to just kind of be open and to tell you what they need, to tell you what their problem is, if they need some help. It could be that they don't want to ask you to help them move or something, but you know they're going to ask you for help, and you're just kind of waiting for them to do it, right? But I feel like you're the type of person that will literally do anything for anyone if they ask, if they're open about why they want that thing or that help or that assistance. I feel like honesty is really number one for you right now, right? That you don't, you're not going to get mad, you're not going to overreact, you're not going to judge if people would just be open and honest and tell you the truth about things. Okay. So I feel like there's someone very close to you that needs something from you, needs some kind of help or assistance, but they're kind of afraid to ask, maybe. I don't think it's afraid to ask. I think it's like their pride really is kind of getting in the way, you know. They don't want to appear weak. They don't want to seem like they are incapable of meeting this challenge on their own, you know. And I feel like you already, like, you're ready to help this. You already know. But you want them to maybe to trust you enough that they would tell you what's going on and ask you for help, and that they can just, you know, talk about this sort of thing. Let's see if we can find out kind of what's going on. Again, I think you already know. I mean, I don't know. But I think you're aware already of this person and that they need assistance from you. You might not know all the details yet. We see some indication on the path of the serpent that there are some details coming. But let's start with the recent past, this Ace of Discs. It feels like there's a new beginning, a new starting to build something in a new location. So I feel like this person has moved. I feel like they've made a big change in their life. It could be that they are, how do I put this delicately? It could be that their health is changing in such a way that they can no longer do all of the things for themselves that they once did. Okay. It could be that they are in need of some support and some assistance, but their pride, their kind of strength and their vitality are keeping them from just coming out and saying, hey, I can't do this on my own anymore. I need some help. Okay. So something has changed, and it could be this person has moved, or if not a physical relocation, it's a movement in the physical body, the physical well-being, a shift in that health or wellness. Okay. And I feel like they really are kind of struggling against this idea of admitting this kind of weakness. It's damaging to someone who has a lot of pride, you know. This is the Seven of Wands. This is the Six of Wands, which is intense pride. Then admitting that it kind of can't live up to that anymore, you know. Maybe you have always had an image of this person as somebody strong and vibrant and can handle anything and powerful and almost invincible, right? If this is a relative, you know, a grandparent or something, mom or dad, there's always been this idea that they're invincible and they're powerful and they're strong, and they don't want you to have to see them in this relatively weakened state. So I feel like this is a major kind of rite of passage for you in your life, you know. I think maybe you're at that stage where we have to start getting ready for our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, our friends even, for health to start declining, and for those loved ones to not be able to do the same things that they used to be able to do, maybe ourselves too, you know. So I think that it's you wanting them to just come out and talk to you and be honest and you know, and trust you enough that they could communicate with you. You know, you want to feel that the two of you have a close enough bond, a strong enough connection that they can tell you these things, you know. But this Ace of Swords is also telling me that it's kind of an awakening experience for you. To be in this situation and to be aware of what's going on with this person is just kind of stirring up a lot of truths, a lot of kind of cold, hard reality for you, you know. It's like, I think we all know what's inevitably coming, but to have it start to materialize in our lives is a lot different than just the knowledge that it's coming at some point, you know. And I think that's really kind of a wake-up call for you. I think that it is, it's something that maybe you never have really experienced before. There might not have been a lot of this in your life as of yet, you know. And I feel like what it is really prompting in you is this Lover's card, immediate future. This impulse to try to get as close to your loved ones as you can. Really just put all of these issues aside, all of this air energy, all of the past air energy bullshit that we've had. Maybe just forget about all of that and bring your loved ones as close as you can, because time is short. We have to cherish the people in our lives while we can, you know. So I feel like this has given you a little bit of an impulse in this direction where you want to reconnect with people that you care about, that maybe you've drifted apart from. Maybe you don't really talk to them anymore. Other people in your life that you're just not so close with anymore, but you really care about them. So I think that this is a week of really reaching out and trying to bring your loved ones as close as possible to you. Okay? Because there is this reality with, I think, a parent or a grandparent going through this shift in their life where, you know, they're starting to need a little bit of help, you know, starting to need a little bit of assistance, and they don't want to ask for it. Of course, we've been through that, but they really are in need of this Four of Discs. They're in need of a safe, stable, secure environment. They're in need of just someone to help them through the activities of daily life, or someone to help them strengthen their bodies again, or get them started on an exercise routine, or just someone to help them cook meals, someone to help them clean the house, that sort of thing, you know, that sort of thing. And that's what I get with the Four of Discs here. This is all of those kind of domestic, all of those, you know, the ADLs, the activities of daily living. The cooking, the cleaning, the exercise, the hygiene, all, you know, that sort of stuff. I think that's what they're in need of. I don't think that they want to ask for it because of obviously their pride. And it's, you know, I think I don't want to put too much of my personal bias in these readings, you know, but I think that's a problem with our world, is that we need to embrace, like, our ancestors. We need to embrace our, you know, our elders, I guess, you know. And it's not something like this, the shift in our physical bodies or our vitality or whatever you want to call it, these changes that we go through as we age are not something to just ignore or sweep under the rug or pretend they're not happening. You know, it's something that's going to happen to all of us. So I feel like we need to have compassion for those people that are already going through it, because we're right behind them, you know? And I think that's what's going on here, honestly. And with the Two of Cups beneath everything, it's an intense love for you. I think you're a very compassionate person. I think you do have this really heartfelt concern for the people in your life. You really, if somebody else is struggling or suffering, I think, like, you feel it too, you know? And you want to do everything you can to help, to alleviate some of that, you know. The Two of Cups is also, it's kind of a sad card, you know. Everything's Two of Cups, love, yeah, it's great. It's also kind of a sad card, because we know that these connections between our heart and your heart, this direct interpersonal connection, is going to end at some point in time. Whether I go first or you go first, it's going to end, you know. So there's a tinge of sadness to this. A tinge of sadness to this. And I kind of feel like that's prompting you to really strengthen the connections with everyone in your life, you know, because it doesn't last forever. You want to make the most of it now. And it could be that it could really, in the last few readings for you, Capricorn, there's been this air sign person that's been a troublemaker in your life, in your business, I think. They're in and out of your readings, and it's just, they're pretty annoying. And I always thought of that as like a younger family member, or just kind of an immature family member, someone that's just kind of causing trouble. I feel like that's kind of that's kind of where all this is focused, especially with this Lover's card, because this card rules the sign of Gemini. Could be that's a Gemini person. And it could be that this situation with the elderly family member is kind of prompting you to try to reconnect, try to let bygones be bygones with that Gemini person or that air sign person, that mischievous, troublemaker, and just reconnect on the foundation of love, right? And to put all of this air energy aside, for the time being at least, to reconnect. Because I think with this Lover's card, it really is a push toward strengthening the family bonds. It may be that you are not very close with your family in general, but those feelings may be changing. That reality may be changing now. Okay. The path of the Serpent, your general energy, is this 6 of Swords. This is a card that's telling me how you've made arrangements, you've made plans, you're someone who likes to be able to predict things. You like to always have a plan in place, an orderly kind of step-by-step way of doing things. So it could be that this is the intellectual understanding. Like you know in your mind the reality of this situation, what needs to be done, what phone numbers to call, all that kind of stuff. The logins, the passwords, all that. But what's really missing is the emotional connection, right? It's all kind of planning. It's all rational. It's all intellectual, right? I feel like this is kind of what's changing throughout this reading, is the start with this Ace of Swords saying, if you'll just communicate with me, then, we can get this done. But it's still an intellectual thing. There's the emotional connection, that compassion and empathy is kind of gone from this ace, right? This Ace of Swords is just really concerned with the truth, really concerned with the open and honest communication. Well, we've discussed a few reasons why that communication's not forthcoming. Okay. So I think that, your approach to things is going to change a little bit. Because now the realities are starting to hit you right in the heart, right where it matters, right? Right there in the center. So you're starting to feel the kind of emotional impact of some of these, what were just until now, just kind of intellectual understandings. It's one thing to understand, to have knowledge of something and intellectually understand it, and then to experience it and to feel the impact of it. Those are two different things. It could be the same situation, the same information, but it's going to hit a lot different. Okay, and this is maybe a water sign person, maybe a Cancer. It could be that this elderly family member, I'm saying, is maybe mom or dad or grandma, grandpa. It could be that they're a water sign, could be a Cancer. I think that this is representing you really reaching out to them with love and compassion, and doing it in such a way that, you're not going to expect them to sacrifice their pride or their dignity. You're going to do it in such a way that is an expression of your love and compassion, right? Without this need to talk about it, I feel like it's just going to be gestures and actions that are coming from the heart. And this intellectual stuff, this understanding, there's a lot of confusion there, because again, it's like you know that this is an inevitability for all of us. But when it hits so close to home, when it starts affecting your life directly, it's an entirely different thing. Okay. And again, that's why we have the Ace of Swords, and then we've got all these other swords over here too, like the 6, the 4, the 3, you know. Well, let's go to the 4. Because the 4 here is kind of telling me that you're not going to understand everything, right? You may not really get the openness and the communication that you would like, you know. This person may just be completely cut off and not want to talk about it, not want to admit, not want to ask you for help or tell you that they need anything. And that's okay. That's okay. You still have this desire to be trusted and loved enough for them to talk to you, but just because they're not being forthcoming with their situation doesn't mean that they don't trust you, doesn't mean that they don't love you. And so we have to kind of stop taking it personally that someone doesn't want to tell us this information or share with us their feelings or their, you know, their vulnerabilities. Okay. And I think this 4 of Swords is the challenge for you to accept that. Accept that this is the reality of the situation, and it's not something that really needs to be discussed or talked about. It's just something that needs to kind of happen, you know? The final card here on the Path of the Serpent is a rather dark card, but I think just like we were talking about, the 2 of Cups had a little tinge of sadness to it, right? This love that will end, you know, everything must come to an end. Here we have the 3 of Swords. This is sorrow. But in this sorrow, there's a little tinge of happiness and love, right? So it's kind of the same with the 2 of Cups, but it's, you know, kind of inverted a little bit. This, I think, is the spiritual understanding of this energy, right? This is more than an acceptance of the inevitability of how aging really starts to kind of take on a different meaning when the people around us start going through it, when we start going through it, and we see that everyone's getting older. It's more than an intellectual understanding. This is a spiritual understanding of it. And there's almost a joy in that because something that we're all sharing, right? We all have this fact in common. We're all going to experience it, and therefore we're all kind of united. If we have so many differences in life, if ever the political difference, social differences, everybody has opinions about something, the one thing that we're all sharing is that we're mortals in this world, that we're all aging. I mean, you can argue that, you know, celebrities maybe, I don't know. We all have this kind of common ground. And so that should give us a little bit of a sense of unity, a little bit of a sense of love, you know. In the sorrow, there is love, just like in love, there's a little bit of sorrow. I think this is an important reading for all of us, you know, not just for Capricorn, but I think for everyone who watches this reading. I think this is something we all should keep in mind, you know. Let's go to the mystery card. What is the mystery card? You know, I don't know. This is one that I can't get a clear picture of what this card's going to be. Maybe some fire energy, to be honest with you. Maybe we need a little bit of warmth. It's starting to get a little cold in here. Maybe we need some fire. Well, we do have fire. This is the Art or Temperance card. This card rules Sagittarius, which is fire, so I was sort of right. This is the kind of the balance that we need. This is the blending together of this need for understanding, this need for communication and rational thinking and thought and the knowledge with the pure empathy, the pure care and concern. We need to find a way to balance those things together because, you know, I think you, maybe more than most people, you thrive on the intellectual understanding of things. You like to break things down into their parts, understand them, and put them back together. Maybe even when you were a kid, you used to take things apart and then put them back together. I feel like you really want to understand things and understand people. Okay? So we have to take that and we have to blend it with our just compassion, our pure empathy. Okay? And that's the difficult thing to do. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about on the path of the serpent. I think it's mostly that. Okay? So this is just something that I think is going to happen naturally. I think it's something that you have to go through this kind of these stages over here on the path of the serpent of like understanding and just accepting and not trying to force that communication, you know. Look for different ways to satisfy that intellectual itch, right? And, you know, try to focus a little bit more on the connection, on the empathy and compassion, especially if it does drive you to try to reconnect with your family more, you know. It may not be that things really need to be talked through and hashed out. It could just be, let's just hug and let's all be together and have a good time. We don't need to talk about that other stuff, you know. So the art or temperance card is really about tempering our expectations and trying to express a little bit more of that water energy. A little bit more of that compassion and empathy, which we didn't really have a lot of water here. It was honestly, you know, Capricorn, mostly air, as always. But the water that we did have, I think, was very meaningful. And it kind of pointed us in the right direction. And then we've got this fire energy to kind of light the way. You know, kind of warm things up so that we can make progress and we don't just kind of freeze in place in this cold, icy world. You know, that there is love and warmth and generosity and light and love all around us. We just have to reach out and take it. Ask for it, you know, too. Anyway, this was a very special reading for you. I think this really had an impact on myself as well. And I hope it resonated with you. We're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, please click on the link that's right up here. You can have access to all of the extended readings. This was your weekly reading, March 26th through April 1st on Dove and Serpent Tarot.